Good day, Mr. Tulate. Good day, classmates. First things first, allow me to introduce myself. I am Eperos Tifabe, and for today's report, it's all about the general provisions of the law presidential. Lesson 4, General Provisions of the Law Presidential, by the Decree Number 1864 as amended by the Republic Act 8294. Republic Act 8294 as of June 6, 1997, an act amending the provisions of Presidential Decree Number 1866 as amended entitled Codifying the Laws on Illegal, Unlawful Possession, Manufacture, Dealing and Acquisition of Disposition of Firearms, Ammunition or Explosives, or Instrument used in the manufacture of firearms, ammunition or explosives, and imposing stiffer penalties for certain violations thereof and for relevant purposes. Republic Act Number 10591, an act providing a comprehensive law on firearms and ammunition and providing penalties for violations thereof. Article Number 1, titled Declaration of Policy and Definition of Terms. In Section 1 is the short title. This act shall be known as the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. Under the Article 1 titled Declaration of Policy and Definition of Terms, in Section 2, Declaration of State Policy, it is the policy of the state to maintain peace and order and protect the people against violence. The state also recognizes the right of its qualified citizens to self-defense through, when it is reasonable means, to repel the unlawful aggression under circumstances. The use of firearms towards the end, the state shall provide for the comprehensive law regulating the ownership, possession, carrying, manufacture, dealing, and importation of firearms, ammunition, or parts of thereof, in order to provide legal support to law enforcement agencies in their campaign against crime, stop the proliferation of illegal firearms or weapons, and the illegal manufacture of firearms or weapons, ammunition, and parts thereof. Section 3, Definition of Terms as used in this Act. A. Accessories refers to the part of firearms which may be enhanced or increase the operational efficiency or accuracy of a firearm but will not constitute any of the major or minor internal parts thereof, such as, but not limited to, laser scope, telescopic light, and sound suppressor or silencer. Next, ammunition refers to the complete and fixed unit consisting of bullet, gunpowder, cartridge, case and perimeter or loaded shell for use in any firearm. For letter C, antique firearm refers to any firearm which was manufactured at least 75 years prior to the current date but not excluding replicas. Firearms which is certified by the National Museum of the Philippines could be the curio or the relic of museum interest, and in any firearms which derives a substantial part of the monetary value from the fact that it is a novel, rare, bizarre, or because it is associated with some historical figure, period, or event. Next, letter D. Arms smuggling refers to the import, export, acquisition, sale, delivery, movement, or transfer of firearms, their parts and components and ammunition for those or across the territory of one country to that of another country which has not been authorized in accordance with the domestic law in either or both country or countries. For letter E, authority to import refers to the document issued by the Chief of the Philippines National Police or the PNP authorizing the importation of firearms or their parts, ammunition, and other components. For letter F, authorized dealer refers to any person, legal entity, corporation, partnership, or business entity duly licensed by the Firearms and Explosive Office or FEO of the PNP to engage in business of buying and selling ammunition, firearms, or part thereof at wholesale or retail basis. For letter G, authorized importer refers to any legal person, entity, corporation, partnership, or business duly licensed by the FEO of the PNP to to engage in business of importing ammunition and firearms, parts thereof, into the territory of the Republic of the Philippines for purpose of sale or distribution under the provisions of this Act. For letter H, Authorized Manufacturer refers to any person, legal entity, corporation, or partnership duly licensed by the FEO of the PNP to engage in the business of manufacturing firearms and ammunition or parts thereof for purpose of sale or distribution. For letter I, confiscated firearms refer to the firearm that is taken into custody by the PNP, National Bureau of Investigation, Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, and all the other law enforcement agency by reason of their mandate and must be necessarily reported or turned over to the FEO or the PNP. Next, for letter J, delimitarized firearms refer to the firearm deliberately made incapable of performing its main purpose of firing projectile. Like in the picture, we can see it is the Army 4th Infantry Division Demilitarized or CSR weapons. K. In letter K, duty detail order refers to the document issued by the juridical entity or employer wherein the details of the disposition of firearms is spelled out, thus indicating the name of the employee, the firearm information, the specific duration, and the location of posting or assignment of the authorized bonded firearm custodian for the judicial entity to whom such firearm is turned over at a lapse of order. For letter L, firearm refers to any handled or portable weapon, whether a small arm or light weapon that expels or designed to expel a bullet, shot, slug, missile, or any projectile which is discharged by a means of expansive forces of gas from burning gunpowder or other form of combustion or any similar instrument or implement for purpose of this act. The barrel, frame, or receiver is considered as a firearm. Next, for letter M, Firearms Information Management, or also known as FIMS, refers to the compilation of all data and information on firearms ownership and disposition for record purposes. Now, for letter N, forfeited firearm refers to a firearm that is subject for forfeiture by reason of court order as accessory penalty or for disposition of the FEO of the PNP of firearms considered as abandoned, surrender, confiscated, or revoked in compliance with existing rules and regulations. Let's move on to letter O. Gun Club refers to an organization duly registered with the accredited in good standing by the FEO of the PNP which is established for the purpose of propagating responsible and safe gun ownership, proper appreciation of the use of firearms by its members for the purpose of sports and shooting competition, self-defense, and collection purposes. Alright, for letter B, gunsmith refers to any person, legal entity, corporation, partnership, or business duly licensed by the FEO of the PNP to engage in the business of repairing firearm or other weapons, of constructing or assembling firearm and the weapons from finished or manufactured parts thereof on a per order basis and not in commercial quantities, or making the minor parts of purpose of repairing and assembling the said firearms or weapon. Let's continue for letter Q. Imitation firearms refers to any replica of firearms or other device that is substantially similar in coloration and overall appearance to the existing firearm as a lead reasonable person to believe that such imitation firearms is a real firearm. For letter R, licensed citizen refers to any Filipino who complies with the qualifications set forth in this act and duly issued with a license to possess or to carry firearm outside the residence in accordance with this act. Now for letter S, licensed juridical entity refers to the corporation, organization, business including security agencies and local government units which are licensed to own and possess firearms in accordance with this act. Let's continue for letter T. Light weapons are Class A light weapons, which refer to the self-loading pistols, rifles, and carbines, submachine guns, assault rifles, and light machine guns not exceeding caliber 7.62 mm which have been automatic mode. Now for Class B lightweight weapons, which refers to weapons designed for use by 2 or more persons serving as a crew, or rifles and machine guns exceeding caliber 7.62 mm, such as heavy machine guns, handheld under-barrel and mounted grenade launchers, portable anti-aircraft guns, portable anti-tank guns, recoilless rifles, portable launch of anti-tank missiles, and rocket system, portable launchers of anti-craft missile system, and mortars of a caliber of less than 100 mm. Alright, for letter U, long certificate of certification refers to the licenses issued to a government agency or offices or government-owned or controlled corporations for firearms to be used by their officials and employees who are qualified to possess firearms as provider of this act, excluding the security guards. Now for letter V, loose firearms refers to unregistered firearms and obliterated or altered firearms, which has been lost or stolen, illegally manufactured firearms, registered firearms in the possession of the individual other than the license, and those who are revoked licenses in accordance with the rules and regulations. Now for letter W, major parts of components of a firearms refers to the barrel, slide, frame, receiver, cylinder, or the bolt assembly. The term also includes any part of the kit designed and extended for the use of converting a semi-automatic burst full automatic firearm. Alright, for letter X, minor parts of a firearm refers to the part of the firearm other than the major parts which is necessary to effect and complete the action of expelling projectile by way of combustion, except those classified as accessories. Now for letter Y, permit to carry firearm outside the residence refers to a written authority issued to a licensed citizen of a chief of PNP which entitles such persons to carry his or her registered or lawfully issued firearms outside the residence for the duration and purpose specified in the authority. For letter Z, permit to transport firearm refers to a written authority issued to a licensed citizen or entity by the chief of the PNP or by the PNP regional director which entitles such as person or entity to transport a particular firearm from and to a specific location within the duration and purpose in the authority. Residence refers to the place or places of abode in the licensed citizen as indicated in his or her license. For letter BB, shooting range refers to the facility established for the purpose of firearm training and skills development, firearm testing, as well as for sports and competition shooting, either for exclusive use of its member or open to the general public, duly registered with the accreditation in good standing of the FEO of the PNP. Alright, for letter CC, short certificate of registration refers to the certificate issued by the FEO of PNP for a government official or employee who was issued by his or her employer, department, agency, or government-owned or controlled corporation, a firearm covered by the long certificate of registration. Small arms refer to the firearms intended to be primarily designed for the individual use or that which is generally considered to a mean of weapon intended to be fired from the hand or shoulder, which are not capable of fully automatic bursts of discharge, such as 1. Handgun, which is firearm intended to be fired from the hand, which includes a pistol, which is hand-operated firearms having a chamber integral with a permanently aligned with a bore which may be self-loading, and revolver, which is hand-operated firearm with a revolving cylinder containing chambers for individual cartridges. Number 2, rifle, which is a shoulder firearm or designed to be fired from the shoulder that can be discharged a bullet through a rifled barrel by different actions of loading, which may be classified as lever, bolt, or self-loading, and number 3, shotgun, which is a weapon design made and intended to fire a number of ball shots or a single projectile through a smooth bore by the action or energy from the burning gunpowder. For letter E, sports shooting competition refers to a defensive precision of a practical sport shooting competition by duly authorized by the FEO of the PNP.
And now for letter F, tampered, obliterated, or altered firearms refers to any firearm whose serial number or other identification or ballistic characteristic has been intentionally tampered with, obliterated, or altered without authority in order to conceal its source identity or. Now let's move on to thermal weapon sight. Refers to a battery-operated and cooled thermal imaging device which amplifies available thermal signatures so that the viewed scene becomes clear, and the operator which is used to locate and engage targets during daylight and from low light in total darkness, and operates in adverse conditions such as light rain, light snow, and dry smoke, or conjunction with other optical and red dot sights. For article number 2, ownership and possession of firearms. Now, in addition, the applicant shall submit the following certification issued by appropriate authorities attesting the following. A. The applicant has not been convicted of any crime involving moral turpitude. B. The applicant has been passed the psychiatric test administered by the PNP accredited psychologist or psychiatrist. Now for letter C, the applicant has passed the drug test conducted by the accredited and authorized drug testing laboratory or clinic. For letter D, the applicant has passed a gun safety seminar which is administered by the PNP or a registered authorized gun club. For letter E, the applicant has filed in writing the application to possess a registered firearm which shall state the personal circumstances of an applicant. For letter F, the applicant must present a police clearance from the city or municipality police. Alright, for letter G, the applicant has been convicted or is currently accused in a pending criminal case before any court of law or for a crime that is punishable within a penalty of more than. For purpose of this act, an acquittal or permanent dismissal of a criminal case before the court of law shall qualify the accused thereof to qualify and acquire a license. For article number 3, registration and license.
failure to renew a license or registration within a period stated above on 2 occasions shall be cause the holder of firearms to be perpetually disqualified from applying for any firearm license. The application for the renewal of license or registration may be submitted to the FEO of the PNP within 6 months before the date of expiration of such license or expiration. Now for Section 20, Inspection and Inventory. The Chief of the PNP or his or her authorized representatives shall require the submission of his report, inspection, or examine the inventory of records of a licensed manufacturer, dealer, or importer of firearms and ammunition during reasonable hours.
Thank you for watching. God